Hey Cthulhu, check out these sunglasses I found out back.
Away with your paltry toys!
Check 'em out, man, they're pretty weird.
I care not!
Come on, you know you wanna.
If it will silence your whole, I will wear them.
Hey,
Yes, I'm wearing your glasses. Where's the PA with my Eska?
Your Eska, sir?
Deceiver!
Obsolete opinion film reviews. Monkey and Cthulhu telling you what to view.
Greetings, human filth! Hello again, everybody. Sean Besner here, along with Jay Keefty, also known as Sock Monkey.
Ew.
And this time we're doing John Carpenter's legendary movie, They Live.
Made in 1988 and starring Rowdy Roddy Piper, along with Keith David and Meg Foster. It was based on the short story by Ray Nelson called 8 O'Clock in the Morning and was adapted by John Carpenter.
Now, oddly enough, John Carpenter looked to Rowdy Roddy Piper a lot in this film to help with depicting the homeless, because if anyone has looked into the life of Rowdy Roddy Piper, he was homeless since about 13. Lived on the streets for many a year. And to help with some of the lines even, Rowdy Roddy Piper walked in first day, handed John Carpenter this big-ass notebook of things that he had been writing down for years to say on mic with the WWE, or WWF at the time. And John used a lot of it, including the iconic line,
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
So this town is slowly dying, but the only people still living there are the ultra-rich. So John Nada, Rowdy Piper, comes in, ends up as a construction worker. A man who wants to do a hard day's work for a good day's pay. Pretty much John Everyman.
Now, Keith David was an interesting side character. He'd been in an earlier Carpenter film, The Thing, in '82, but I think this is what really kind of launched his career past this into his 200-plus films currently. It also leads to one of the best fight scenes in movie history. I think the longest ever recorded fight scene.
I think it is. Oddly enough, I think it's even longer than most of the strung-together Rocky scenes.
The funny thing about that whole scene is that it was completely improvised, and they just went on for 11 minutes at least, and they had to cut out most of the scene to fit the actual movie.
Keith David really is the other side of Everyman. It's the guy who keeps his head down, doesn't want to rock the boat, and just wants to work.
Well, yeah, Roddy Piper's the man with nothing to lose, and Keith David is the man with the family and the house and the mortgage and everything to lose that is afraid of all of that because of what Piper ends up showing him.
Yeah. And it's that harsh dose of reality that this film tends to offer. Piper, the ever-curious, has-to-know-everything character that he is, watches this church across the street, and he finds in a back room that they are manufacturing, oddly enough, sunglasses. So he finds some of the sunglasses, takes some with him after the police decimate that small little homeless encampment, and he puts them on, and he notices, bang, right away, the classic obey, which is marketed today to hipsters, which is hilarious.
The one thing I didn't like about the film, probably the only thing, was Meg Foster's character, or Roddy Piper's reactions to her character. It was pretty unbelievable the way that he trusted her for no reason after she screwed him over.
She was just unlucky at the time, fell into it. Roddy Piper, with that great scene where he falls out the window after that speech about the sunglasses, and there's so many good parts about it. But the only reason that she went along with him near the end was she was working for them. But after she had told him, oh yeah, I looked through the sunglasses and all that kind of stuff, Roddy wanted to believe that the people, once they learned the truth, would change and not go with the system. They wouldn't buy in.
Yeah, I guess her character was kind of needed, but I just wanted Roddy Piper to just keep kicking ass and running out of bubble gum.
Like, it wasn't a box office smash, but thankfully cult kept this thing alive. Actual fans of John Carpenter and Roddy Piper, and the film itself just kept this thing going. I mean, you yourself have a damn tattoo of the thing.
Yeah, I consider it probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite film of all time, just for what it is, what it was at the time, and the characters. It's one of the few movies you're rooting for Piper the whole way through. Like, he is the everyman, and that's exactly why I think he was hired for the film, because it wasn't an act.
Weirdly enough, when you were talking about that, all I could think was, it's not a dated film. You can watch it, and the special effects let you down, of course, because it's 1988 and it's a John Carpenter film and they have no budget. But it's not a dated film. Those messages can still hit home.
Yeah, it's increasingly relevant. You know, the Republicans are still there to screw you over, pretty much. If you don't think so, then you're dumb.
And the Democrats got their hand in the other pocket, stealing your last couple of pennies. It's the rich against the poor, and that's what it always has been. Anyone who believes differently is trying to sell you something or didn't bother to take an economics class. Using a character like Nada to show the problems in society is perfect. It's an odd thing in an action horror film when you have an incredibly harsh social conscience, like this film does. When he goes up to the magazine rack, starts flipping through Procreate, Obey, and then he pulls out the money. This is your God. That is the 1980s. If you look back on it, the Reaganomics, it is the destruction of the middle class of America that America has still not bounced back from. It is the idea that profits are better than people. Profits can win out. And you can see in that one scene where it's that giant ballroom when Keith David and Roddy Piper are standing in the back of it, and all these people are there and they're talking about how they are the super elite and how rich and rich and rich they're going to become. You can see through the sunglasses, or I think the contacts at that point. I think they were wearing the contacts?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see through the contacts that even through all of this, the aliens are in there. So it's the idea of the people behind the scenes pulling the strings of the people, pulling the strings of the people, pulling the strings. You are not in control of what you do and what you watch. You are being sold a product. You are being sold that singer. You are being sold that movie at all times. If you wear a Nike shirt, you are a walking billboard for Nike. These are the things that this movie helps really hammer home.
Yeah, that's the biggest moral of the entire film is independent thought. Question absolutely everything, because most of what you hear is probably bullshit. And you know, this is one of the first films that actually made me realize that, and probably one of the main reasons why it's one of my favorites.
If you believe that you are a rebel, look around at all your friends. Does even one of them have a similar look or t-shirt to you? Do you have the exact same haircut as everyone else? You are not an individual, sir. You are a product.
Watch the movie. If you already seen the movie, you know exactly what we're talking about. So if you think we're going overboard, it's probably because you haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, next time up, it's MST3K's treatment of Mitchell.
An obscure gem, but we will tell you all about it.
So stay tuned, subscribe, like, or I will devour your soul.